Alright, folks, I'm not sure if you guys understand what a severe panic attack is. That's what I had last night. After something like that, it's potentially a couple of days before I get my bearings completely back. That doesn't mean I don't know where I'm at. It doesn't mean I don't know my name. It means that it's going to take a while to respond if you ask me a question, and I'm going to get overwhelmed quicker. Dr. Caroline Diamond was making her thing today, and I do like to watch her and listen to what she has to say. She's a very intelligent woman, and she also shares her experiences. Um, I did watch it for a couple of minutes. She's talking about Jada Pinkett and Will Smith and Chris Rock, and she thinks that what Chris Rock did is equal to what Will Smith did. And like many of the women, it's especially women who are pushing this. We've got all of this domestic violence crap being pushed on us, and it is crap. Women are more prone to violence in the United States. Husbands are beaten more than their wives in the United States. They're beaten more often, more frequently, and many times it lasts a lot longer. A man is less likely to go to the police. Now, Dr. Diamond was talking about a bully that she had when she was younger and how she had gotten violent with him and about how it had stopped. Now, for her, not having the mentally ill tag, well, that right there means that she has an honest chance to defend herself. If someone is bullying her with words for long periods of time, she herself got violent with these people or with this one individual. And of course, it's over same issues as me, same issues as Jada. The difference is the doctor, well, the type of baldness that Jada has is a particular type of alopecia, which it makes your hair disappear. But it also could grow back and often does. It just takes time. So I should probably go to her video, but if I do, then it's going to start giving me connection issues. But let me see where I'm at here. Um, we'll try to press the Y thing and go to YouTube on a different one and see if we can pull any of this stuff up. I do want to make sure that I post up. I'll have to do it, I guess, after this video because where her stuff kind of pops up on my YouTube is weird right now. Where it usually pops up is actually where, if it's a live video, it tells me that my live video is on. It says female tendencies towards violence, Dr. Caroline uh, Diamond Rogers and Will Smith. I had to stop listening to hers. I got a notification about a missing person. It took less than 5 minutes to resolve it. The person's not missing. So it's good. It's fine. Um, Good things, you know. Now she talks about mind your business, and her business is not minding her business actually, but that's the nature of being a therapist, ain't it? So today, obviously, I made a couple of posts about missing people, and one of them is on people who are still missing. It's been long term. Um, I've made uh, a few calls to other people today. There's a couple of people who are sort of trying to help me online, and that's the thing from day one. I need help in person, and people just keep making suggestions, and I keep explaining it's got to be in person. I didn't travel to California to see Shannon Alvarado for her to get drunk all day. Well, she didn't actually drink during the day at all. She drank at night, starting at 6 o'clock. But during the day, I couldn't make phone calls there, and she couldn't really help me because she was busy with her own stuff, especially her daughter, who's a handful. So it's not like she was being evil during the day, but I couldn't get the help done that I needed. Now, here we are. We got this Will Smith smacking Chris Rock, and we got all these people going, oh, well, it's not okay to make fun of her for a medical condition. And you know what? We need to knock this off. We need to stop pretending that women can't be violent or aren't. The place that I was staying in Chapel, Nebraska, the guy that I was staying with, his ex came over and assaulted him in front of me on multiple occasions. I told him if he wanted to call the cops, that I'd be right there with him. He said, I'm not calling the cops. They'll arrest me. I got a penis. He's absolutely right. There's also the fact that they've been targeting him and giving him bogus BS for helping me. A lot of people who helped me end up with bogus BS with the local cops in Chapel. Very often. Now, Dr. Caroline is of the opinion that we should all be perfect. Apparently, she can get excited. She can get even angry. She can express emotion. Men are not allowed to do this. All these people, and when I say these people, I'm talking about people like Caroline, of course, and Will Smith, and well, shit, a lot of people. Violence is never okay. No, it is absolutely okay. They keep coming up with special exceptions where it's okay. It's okay for them to get violent. Will Smith didn't do that, though, did he? He afterwards made that public apology, and, it was wrong, and there is no room for violence in a world of love and kindness. We don't live in a world of love and kindness, Will Smith. We simply don't. The people who work here at this Starbucks are very loving and kind towards me. They absolutely are. But then again, it's a Starbucks that's full of people that are, how do I say this without making them targeted? Alternate lifestyle. We're all different, all of us. But Dr. Diamond, along with a great many other women, think that it's okay for men to hit other men over an insult of a woman, that is defending the woman. No, the hell that's not. Jada Pinkett was not under assault. Only one of those two men committed an act that would get someone killed. Yes, Chris Rock could have been killed by getting hit in the head. I'm not sure how much you guys pay attention or how good your memory is, but year before last, and mind you, I don't own a TV, so I don't see this stuff often. Year before last, there was a kid that was being bullied at school. He got hit in the head once and died. Once. He only got hit in the head once, and that was the end of the story. So, yeah, it's not the same thing. Absolutely not. And you want to say that verbal assault is the same thing? Verbal assault, verbal assault, verbal assault. Absolutely not. It is not the same thing. When you tell someone to get the fuck away from you, that's verbal assault, right? No, that is putting emphasis on you need to get the fuck away from me. Not in 10 minutes. Not when you finish your fucking story. Get the fuck away from me. Now, I've been backed into corners with people that wanted to be extremely rude. They maybe didn't realize how rude they were being. I said, hey, I have to go. You have me backed into a corner. I do not feel comfortable. You need to back up. You need to back up. If I have to get louder, I will. If I have to curse, I will. When it comes to verbal assault, you have no idea how much abuse I've taken. And is Caroline Diamond going to make the same, and I'm going to have to call them excuses in this case. Is she going to make the same excuses for me as she does for Will? Or is she going to pick me apart differently? You can call it alopecia. It's hair loss. You can get hair loss from dyeing your hair. You can get hair loss from putting it in a ponytail. You can get hair loss from getting ringworm. You can get hair loss from having, well, your genetics. Absolutely not. Violence is not the same thing. But at the same time, when my name was slandered and I was assaulted repeatedly over that slander, well, I got a question, Caroline. I got a question, Will Smith. Is it okay to assault me for something that never happened? Is it okay to bully me for 6 years straight? Is it okay? Is it okay that police helped my predators? Is that okay? Now, this is the question that I posed. All these people wanting equality, all the women wanting equality, you got to earn it. Straight up. If you want special rights, like what Dr. Diamond is talking about, those are special rights. She wants to extend to Will that what he did was equally wrong to what Chris Rock did. No, absolutely not. You say sticks and stones when they break my bones and all of that crap, but in reality, is that really how it is? Is making a joke about G.I. Jane the same as calling somebody a child molester? Is making a joke about somebody's baldness the same as calling somebody a rapist? Saying, oh, you look like a rapist. And you say that to pretty much every dude who's bald, especially if they're homeless? Is it okay to victimize me for being autistic? To make fun of me for being autistic? To assault me for being autistic? And then to say, you can't use autism as a crutch? When I was being literally physically assaulted, when I was having people threaten my life, I'm told, oh, you just need to ignore it. You just need to ignore it. Try ignoring a motherfucker coming up and hitting you in the head. Try ignoring that shit. These people weren't making jokes about my wife's fucking head. They were threatening to kill my loved ones, assholes. Get off the fucking drugs. Get off your high horse. Get off of your soapbox. Equality means equality. It doesn't mean special rules for Will Smith because he's rich. It doesn't mean special rules for Will because his wife is bald. Violence is wrong. Violence is wrong. Violence is wrong. No, it's absolutely not. If you are defending your life, violence is 100% right. If you are defending your loved ones, violence is 100% right. Now, although I've said for years that self-defense is not violence, the fact is in this situation right here where people want to keep on pushing that, fine, we will call self-defense violence. Because people want to keep on changing the definition, depending on who it is, changing whether or not it's okay based on people's skin color, based on their gender. And yes, women are pushing violence against men, and women are literally getting physically violent with men. We are expected to take verbal beratings, verbal beatings, and physical assaults, as well as verbal assaults from a woman. We are told it is never okay to hit a woman, and here we are having women saying it's okay to assault people. Not okay. Is verbal assault the same as physical assault? No, it's not. You're not going to die from a verbal assault. You're not going to die from a fucking joke. The things that the police did to me on multiple occasions could have killed me. The things that were done to me by the general public could have killed me. What Robert Franklin Warnick did to me could have killed me. What State Trooper Lassen and Scott DaCosta did to me could have killed me. Matter of fact, what those deputies did in the hospital could have killed me. That's right, that Dual County sheriff or sheriff's deputy in the hospital in Sidney, Nebraska, which is Cheyenne County, different jurisdiction. There's like 8 officers there. Yes, Scott DaCosta utilized multiple jurisdictions to assist him in his crimes, and they fell all into line for it. You say it's never okay, it's never okay. With all due respect, I tried everything else. It is absolutely okay to scream. It is absolutely okay to shout. But it is not okay to assault people. See, now that's where we need to draw the line. Yes, defending yourself is a physically violent act. Assaulting someone is a physically violent act, but only one of these is wrong. In every single situation where I was being assaulted, not once did I throw a punch. Not even once. Not once did I throw a kick. Not even once. But guess what? The cops keep wanting to pretend that. And by getting the opportunity and the chance to have me incarcerated, they got access to my evidence and got to destroy evidence and ride out the clock until they were allowed to destroy their own body cameras. Chris Rock got smacked once. Jada Pinkett Smith had one joke told about her. And Will Smith got a good laugh out of it. Will Smith made one swing at Chris Rock. Guess what? I've had a lot more people swing at me than that. And most of them don't stop after the first one. When I heard what Caroline Diamond had to say about her getting violent, I can understand that story, especially when it's in your youth. As you get older, you realize that those words really ain't that important, but she was hurting. She was hurting when she attacked that boy. I don't mean boy as in a racist term for a black person either. I mean boy as in she was not an adult. She was talking about when she was in school. He wasn't a grown man yet. She wasn't a grown woman yet. But to hear that and to hear people justify it. But then, are you guys looking at the fact that when somebody's called mentally ill, it's just assumed that they're guilty? Just assumed. For me, being assaulted by Robert Franklin Warnick, only a month, barely over a month, after the assault by Dual County Sheriff Scott DaCosta and State Trooper Lassen. And who did I have to call to try to get something done about that? I had to call Dual County Sheriff's Department. In order for that to work, I needed someone in person. You can look on my channel around the 16th. Around the 23rd, I believe, of December of 2020. There's my phone. There's Aaron Stegeman, who I asked if he would go in with me. He said, yeah. Later on, he showed what a fucking punk he is. See, here's the thing about all y'all that you're just not understanding. Homelessness is not some fucking party. It's victimization over and over and over again. Caroline Diamond, she gets to live in her house. I get to see in the videos she's in a house. She sells merchandise on her YouTube channel. So, of course, that merchandise helps give her money. And she's not the only one. I mean, Chloe Roma, the one who does Roma Army Men's Rights. She sells merchandise too. That's how she makes her living. But she's in a house. She can do those things. You cannot do those things when you are constantly moving around. When you don't have a bank account and can't get a bank account. These are things that are happening to me as a result, as a direct result of what the police have done to prevent me from turning them in. The first thing they do is take away your voice. They take away your resources. They take away your ability to communicate with your loved ones. And then when I'm frustrated and I'm telling my friends, hey, I need you to actually keep your word. I need you to show up. I literally explained to a woman today, and she's a very nice lady. I literally had to explain to her the same thing 3 different times. She's given me suggestions. I need someone in person. I am a homeless, autistic male. Someone in person or victimization. Someone in person or victimization. In person, victimization. In person, victimization. That is how it is. Caroline Diamond, on the one that she made last Sunday, she talked through the whole thing about the way it's supposed to be. Of course, I could make it sound like a bad thing and go, she talked all last week about how it's supposed to be, but that's not how it is. And here's the thing is that, yeah, you can say how it's supposed to be. How it's supposed to be is that cops are supposed to be the good guys. How it's supposed to be is if you see somebody walking down the street of any color of skin, they're still a human being. Regardless of their gender, regardless of their color, regardless of what they're wearing, regardless of if they're fat, if they're skinny, regardless of if they're pretty, if they're ugly. But in reality, and this is the thing that Caroline Diamond keeps avoiding, and she does this in nearly every single one. She avoids the reality. She has it in her head that we live in some sort of a society where things are perfect, and if she is a therapist pretends that it's perfect and that all of this stuff in this perfect world is what we're dealing with. No, I don't live in a perfect world. I don't. Even in her perfect world scenarios now, she admits that in her past, yes, that violence, that bullying, that did happen. That is proof we don't live in this picturesque world that she keeps trying to talk about as if it actually exists. Oh, cops don't do that. Oh, well, no, we would do this, and this. No, not we, Caroline. You can only speak for yourself. You cannot speak for other therapists. You cannot speak for other doctors. You can speak on what they're supposed to do. And that episode last week, the stuff that you went through was perfect. Do you know why it was perfect, Dr. Caroline Diamond? Not that you're going to watch this. It was perfect because you did outline how it is supposed to be. And that right there, my evidence shows in literally every single one of these cases, that's not how it was. That's not how it is. How it is supposed to be and what they chose to do are miles apart. And the thing is that the things that they did to me are against the law. Most of them are at least misdemeanors, if not felonies. All of the assaults against me are felonies, every single one of them. Every single person that I went to for help about the abuse I was enduring in Nebraska, because in Nebraska, every single person is a mandated reporter. In the state of Nebraska, every single person I went to for help who brushed me off, blew me off, every single one of them could spend 6 months in jail plus a fine that's in the thousands. I believe it's only 1,000, but we can look that up. That's right, folks. 6 months in jail and $1,000 fine because somebody told you they were being abused, and instead of calling the cops like you should have, you told them just to let it go. It'll be fine. Just ignore it. Now, there's a lot of other places. You look at these Natalie Bollinger groups. You look at how many people joined those groups who claimed that they were nurses and doctors, and they joined in on the threats and harassment. Some of them even joined in on the assaults. Now, Caroline Diamond, did she get to see that? Well, she could. If she's willing, I'll send her everything I got. Problem is, it'll take her years to go through it. You got to hear Mandy Singer, her guesstimation was what, 6 months? You got to hear Megan Missigatis, my autism advocate, who's not an accredited advocate and doesn't get to do any of the things that an advocate is supposed to do. So she's basically an advocate only in name. But that's the situation through all of this. I've had to deal with women saying that I deserve this, I deserve this, I should have this, and I should have that. I should have this, and I should have that. Meanwhile, these men are getting all up in my face and all up in arms because of women. It's not because of something I did. It's because of women promoting and pushing violence. You should never hit a woman, but it's okay to hit a man. That's not okay. Well, a verbal assault is as bad as a physical assault. Really? Not in the eyes of the law. In the reality of it, it comes down to who's what gender. And here's the question that I posed to over 100 people about the situation with Jada Pinkett and Will Smith and Chris Rock. If Jessica Alba had been on the stage and made that joke to Jada Pinkett Smith, would you still be telling us that it's okay for Will Smith to walk down and smack somebody in the face? Those of you who are saying it is perfectly okay what Will did, or that it's just as equally wrong of Chris to say what he said as it was for Will Smith to smack him across the face, is it okay if we change the gender of the slappee? If the slapper remains the same, this is called scientific method, by the way, you have to have a control. The control group, and then you've got your test subjects, your test groups. So what's our control group? Our control group is the actual event that happened. That's our control group. Now we can visualize other scenarios, can't we? That's absolutely right. What if Jada would have gotten up and done the smacking? What if this, that, and the other? We could change the scenario to a million different things. Now, why is it that I changed it to Jessica Alba? Usually when you do an award show, it's somebody who's old news. And yes, Jessica Alba is old news. Myself and pretty much everybody that I grew up with, well, they went through puberty to Jessica Alba. Just life happens. Now, that doesn't mean that she was one of the actresses while we were going through puberty. I should state it that way. Now, the reason I ask that is to find out if you're sexist. If it's never okay to hit a woman, it's never okay to hit a man. If it's not okay for a man to hit a woman over an insult, it's not okay for a man to hit a man over an insult. With me, I wasn't just dealing with insults. By the time I was cursing at Natalie Bollinger, you have no idea how many times I had been physically assaulted or had my family threatened. Big difference between making a G.I. Jane joke and threatening to kill someone's family. Big difference between a G.I. Jane joke and calling somebody up to tell them you know where they live and you're going to come kill them. There is a big difference. And a lot of you guys want to say, oh, well, it was wrong for you to do it. Let me ask you something. If I have 50 people punching me and I punch them back, does that make it okay? There was 50 people punching me. Does it make it okay that 50 people were punching me because I finally hit one of them back? That's what we're dealing with here. The reason I asked the Jessica Alba thing is specifically because of gender bias. Caroline Diamond has gender bias. Most of you have gender bias. And I can tell you, look through the comments. The women who are promoting the violence by Will Smith, and then you see the men who are their followers, their hangers on, their suitors. Yes, men are trained that you have to do it a woman once or she can destroy your life with a lie. She can destroy your life with a rumor. And there will be no consequences for her because nobody cares about men. In this situation, more people would have gone, yeah, it's about time, if Jada Pinkett Smith had gotten up and smacked Chris Rock. We hear all these women saying, I don't need a man, I don't need a man, I don't need a man. Fine, you don't need a man. You don't need a man to stand up for you. You don't need a man to stick up for you. You don't need a man. But then we have literally hundreds upon hundreds and hundreds of women saying, I wish a man would defend me. Do not call that defense. Don't even. If you are going to call that defending, then keep in mind that if you are going to justify Will Smith hitting another human being, color of law, bud. The law is supposed to be equal for all of us, which means that if it's okay to hit somebody over an insult, it's okay to hit someone over an insult. If you insult your husband, he can beat the fuck out of you. Is that what you want? That is what you women are promoting. You women have promoted Will Smith's violence to such a heavy degree while typing these literal words. Violence is never okay. But, no. You said never. There is no but. You said never. But, no. Take that and shove it up here. Who cares? Now, this isn't the first time that I have heard this gender bias out of Dr. Caroline Diamond. It's not. This is a national epidemic. It absolutely is. And Dr. Diamond doesn't want to talk about the race thing, but I am. The reason for this is because if you're a black kid, your parents are probably going to give you that speech about how, hey, I know that you guys are going to go out and do something stupid at some point. You're kids. You're going to do something stupid. The cops come after you. You don't run. You do not run with your friends. You stop. You stand perfectly still and you follow instructions or they will shoot your ass. That same exact conversation needs to be given to every single disabled person in this country. If you are autistic or you have Tourette syndrome, it is especially important. However, unless a black kid has autism or Tourette syndrome, they're actually at less of a risk of getting shot because they can actually hold still. Involuntary muscle spasms and involuntary muscle movements, those aren't a choice, but cops will and often do kill people over it. That's why I need protection and safety that I can't provide for myself. It is specifically because of my disabilities. And a lot of y'all want to say, oh, don't use autism as a crutch. I'm absolutely not using autism as a crutch. I'm telling you that my victims don't exist. My predators absolutely do. What I'm telling you is that we need to stop the violence. Not violence is Never okay. But, and then what's that but turn into? Gender bias, nearly every time, or color bias. It should be okay, apparently, for a black man to beat on a white person. We are getting pushed this rhetoric by our news now. The victims need to work together. We get to see this, how men are treated. You get to see through all of my situation how these things are true, how incredibly true they are. By the time I actually did threaten people, it was because all other options that I had were exhausted. I had tried everything else, and the abuse was ongoing daily. Not all abuse is sexual, not all abuse is physical. Stealing from the elderly, that's abuse. Matter of fact, stealing from anybody is abuse. But if we've got women who are saying that it is okay to assault someone over an insult, that is not going to end well in the world of equality, is it? Kind of like, well, women, 7% of them work over 40 hours a week, and 24% of men work over 40 hours a week. If we tell women, hey, you need to work over 40 hours a week or you're not going to get paid as much as a man, that's not going to go over well, is it? You cannot present common sense to someone who already has it ingrained in their head. They have been taught that the reason that this is happening is because they're a woman, or the reason that this is happening is because they're black. No. That's not to say those things don't happen. It's to say that not every time is it because police officers all hate black people. We got plenty of situations where you see two exactly the same situations, one of them with a black officer and, of course, a black suspect, no race crime. Same exact situation with a black man and a white officer. Oh, he targeted me because I'm... No, he targeted you because you were fucking selling crack on a street corner. And by the way, selling crack on a street corner is just as illegal for a white person. It's just as illegal for a woman. Don't sell crack on a street corner. But then we got these situations where people are doing barely wrong things, like selling illegal cigarettes. That's not something to murder somebody over. But that's what happened, isn't it? Meanwhile, they do this to the homeless all the time. It's fine, isn't it? No, it ain't. Anyway, I'm going to let y'all go because they're about to close up here. My car is dead. It won't start. One of the ladies here, when she gets off, she's going to try to help me. Another lady was out here earlier who works here, and she was going to try to help me, but she had to move along. You know, she's got a life of her own and things to do, so there's that. These people are wonderful. I mean, I'm not going to shit you. They really are. Today, I showed the manager here two things that y'all just want to pretend don't exist. So I will probably post them in the comment section of this, just so that you know they do. It's all of these Natalie Bollinger things that keep popping up. There was two of them in the last 10 days. One of them from Indonesia, and one of them from France. I don't know what they said, but what are the chances that they're recycling the same bullshit that's told in all of the American stories? Meanwhile, I've contacted all of these places that I can actually contact to let them know, hey, I'm doing my best. I'm trying to show you the truth. I have evidence that shows that the story that you are selling is a lie. Now, there's people who intentionally defame me. Rob Gavigan, of course. And then there's, well, many others. The most important one, however, is Mike Boudet. Sword and Scale, episodes 109 and 110. This man isn't just a predator towards me, he's a predator towards many. Now, there's a big difference between making a joke about G.I. Jane and calling Will Smith a child molester and a rapist. If he had called Will Smith a child molester and a rapist, do you think it would be okay for Will Smith to go beat the living fuck out of him? If Will Smith was not guilty, he was not a child molester or a rapist, does it make it okay to victimize Will Smith for the rest of his life? If he is guilty of being a child molester or a rapist, does it make it okay for him to beat on Chris Rock for saying it? See, that's where we have our control group. The control group is what actually happened. The control group is the women in these groups and the men who support them. And that's not to say that men don't have their own opinions. That's not to say that men weren't getting on there and doing this on their own. It doesn't mean that these men who were agreeing just because these people are women's, or just because some of these people are women's, I should say. But the fact is, the ones promoting the violence the most are women. And we're getting to hear a lot of women are talking and speaking out about times that they got violent with somebody. Violence is never okay. Will Smith says that after one slap across Chris Rock's face. Now, whether it was one slap or 50, it's still wrong. So I'm not saying that what Will Smith did was okay at all. What I'm saying is that we've got a lot of women out there that are claiming that it's okay, and they're telling us their stories about how they assaulted somebody over words. See, now we're getting the true stories here, aren't we? Now we're starting to realize how many women out there will do that, will get violent over words. Or how many women will push those words at you because you're not allowed to hit them. That's sexism, and it's sexist bias, and I'm not okay with it. Oh, and shove it up your ass. Have a nice day. That goes for everybody, of course. I'm an equal opportunity asshole. Bink!